with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki. Before we go ahead and before I forget, this might appear backwards to you, and it might even appear to be blurry to you. It's backwards, yes.
You can turn off the blur.
What's this all about?
The blur setting.
It's a grand opening of a new temple and restaurant in Northern Ontario, cottage country, Muskoka. The name of the town is Huntsville. Huntsville, and very few people are hunting there these days, is turning vegetarian. In fact, there's going to be a free vegetarian feast, and there's going to be cultural shows, mantra meditation, kids' activities. The opening of the temple is actually on the 10th, Friday, but the big bash is on the 19th in a park in the small city of Huntstown. Starts at 11 a.m., goes to 5 p.m., and I believe the Rajasi rock band is going to be there. Is that right, Sudama, Garuda?
Some of us will be there, yes.
Some of you.
I don't know whether the band's going to be there or not.
Well, okay. We'll call you later on. All right. It would be great to have you there. Okay, and so that is on that day, the 19th. That's the big occasion, and it's on Main Street, a brand new temple, restaurant, and also living facilities. Nice 14 units that are available for people, Hare Krishna, who follow the Vaishnava, let's say, a regimen. Okay, thank you so much for listening to the commercial break here. Our host is Sudama, right? I'm sorry?
Did you say the official opening is on the 10th?
Yeah, there's something on the 10th and the 19th. The 10th is when we're doing chanting, installing deities, and the restaurant will be operating, but it's on the 19th, the long weekend, on the Sunday, that we're in a park. You'll find it, just get to this address. It's on Main Street, 8 Main Street. And Jason, you were there before. You did some handiwork there.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a real nice Victoria Day weekend. For my American friends, Victoria was a queen, and she created a scene, and she was mild and mean, and all glories to her. We do, in Canada, we have firecrackers, and it's kind of like when Canada was acknowledged. Okay, so we're our host is Sudama Vipra Prabhu, and he lives in Owen Sound, and his father's next to him, Garudavan. Garudavan, do you want to raise your hand so everybody can see you? Okay, and he and I traveled across Canada together. He was the chauffeur, and that doesn't make any sense because I walked across Canada. How can you have a chauffeur? Well, he carried all the tent, the place where we slept in, and our clothes and our books and our cookware and all that. And he'd deal with the media. He'd deal with flat tires. He would deal with bears and grizzlies. And, we did that together. That was a great fight together. Anybody's interested in knowing more about that walk? I have 2 books left of the Saffron Path. It's about our walking adventures across the US, Canada, Ireland, Israel, Guyana, Trinidad, the Fiji Islands, and Mauritius. And it's an easy read. You like it. It'll inspire you to use your legs more. Hare Krishna. We'll get on to our program. Last week, we were at 7-Eleven, not to be mistaken with the convenience store. But as I mentioned last week, if you want to remember how many military units the Pandavas had and the Kauravas, the Pandavas had 7, the Kauravas had 11. So if you can't remember those numbers, think of the convenience store where you get your potato chips and your pop and everything that's got full of sugar and salt. Hare Krishna. So Sudama, we're on 7:12, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to read the Sanskrit on this and then the translation. And I think we'll have time and enough content here for 2 people to read. We'll see how far that takes us. Ye chaiva satvika bhava. Okay, people are sounding like mice today, and that's because it isn't on the screen anywhere. But if you have your copies of the Gita, 712 is where we are. Rajasas tamasas chayi matta iveti thanvidi natvahanti shute mayi. Good, and then we're going to go to the translation. You put all the words together. Know that all states of being, be they, okay, there was an echo there. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So since there's a lot of enthusiasm to say the verse, we will now read it together, okay? All right. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, okay, independent, and I'm not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. So, Sudama, do you want to maybe we get pick one person from the New Jersey crowd here and one person from the Ontario slash Montreal, BC crowd?
Aye. Yes. How about from the class side? Maybe Narayan can read some, and then one of your guests.
Would somebody like to volunteer from this group here to read the second part when it comes to it? Slow and easy and clear. Okay, Mataji had her hand up first. Okay, and your name is? Neelam. Okay, so Narayan and then Neelam, 2 N's. All right.
Purport by His Divine Grace. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the 3 modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject to them. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law.
Thank you, Brew. That was wonderful reading. And Neelam, can you continue? The nice and loud and clear so they can hear.
Similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme Lord, Krishna. But Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. That is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you very much for that great reading and that great listening. So we'll dwell on this verse, and maybe if we have time, we can move along to the next one and so on. But sometimes we find that it's so interesting and intriguing, and there's so much depth here that we can't move on. We just want to just explore every little item that may be available for our edification. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we're talking about how to identify God. That has been on our minds the last few weeks. And for instance, going back to the text 9, I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire. So next time when you smell flowers, this is the best time of the year. Lilacs, honeysuckles. What else? Right now you have garlic mustard plants around here. They're very strong. And that is Krishna, believe it or not. I'm the heat and fire. When heat comes off the radiator, hopefully we don't need to, we just kiss it goodbye for a few months. But if there is heat coming off anywhere, that is Krishna. He says, I am the life of all that lives. Anything living, that is Krishna. Also, anything dying, that is also Krishna. And I'm the penances of all the ascetics. Anyone who performs austerities, that is also that energy, those vows, those strictures, let's put it that way, disciplines, also can be identified as Krishna. Text 10. I'm just going over this again because this is really good stuff. I'm the original seed of all existence. Indeed, the Lord says, Ahang bija pradapita. Recently, I think I told the group last, I was with a number of Freemasons, and our theme was brotherhood. And everyone did talk about the common father. So I was able to quote from the Gita, Ahang bija pradapita. Krishna says, I'm the seed giving father of all living entities. So that was kind of interesting for these men to hear. I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. Anybody who illustrates high IQ, that intelligence is also coming from Krishna and is to be identified as Krishna. And I'm the prowess of all powerful men. All pride can be identified as that. He also says in text 11, I'm the strength of the strong. So if you feel someone demonstrates physical strength, even mental strength, psychological strength, that is Krishna. It says, I'm sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. We're talking about planned family planning. We're talking about not casual, but regulated sexual activities. And that is Krishna. I mean, when you come up this topic of karma, the principle of karma, is very intriguing for people. And if we tell people that sexual activity is God, maybe the churches will get full if they start talking about it. But they might not like to hear the second part of it. That you mean I can't be casual, just as I feel good, I should do. So, and now we're looking at something that's quite common in the Bhagavad Gita, the theme of the three energies, goodness, passion, and ignorance. They are an extension of the Lord. They are his energies. And Prabhupada many times has explained the energy and the energetic are not different. The sunshine and the sun have the same power. Maybe the intensity of a sun ray coming down on your face doesn't feel like you're in the sun. It would burn off your face if you were actually on the planet sun. But same basic components. He also says something that's quite fits within the realm of Achincha Beta Beta Tattva. Tattva means truth. And what is truth in this world? Everything is one, but it's also different. When we talk from a romantic point of view, man, woman, they are different from each other, but they're one as a couple. And they cooperate together once in a while. Anyways, opposites attract, all that kind of thing. Well, bro. They're laughing behind the altar. Isn't that good? I'm glad I could pull out a good joke. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the great proponent of the philosophy of oneness and difference. And we can look to other shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita, fast forward to chapter 9, where the Lord is saying, I'm in there, but I am not there. Okay, so those are some beautiful examples. God is beyond the laws of nature. God can do anything. When we say that someone's trying to call in and that's on my phone, that means they might not be able to hear or something. Yes, just tell the person to take a break. Call us back later on. Okay, so Krishna was born not under normal circumstances. It was an immaculate conception. The Catholics might like that phrase, but the idea came from India long before they had the idea. Sorry to say. Okay. Krishna was born under unique circumstances. His father was meditating on Vishnu, and that's Vasudeva. And Vasudeva was Through the ether, he projected his thoughts to his wife and then impregnated her, Devaki, and indeed Vishnu was born. But her preference was, I want a baby. I don't want Vishnu. Sorry, Charlie. I mean, you know, I need an ordinary child. I don't want you to come across as Vishnu. Then I know you two don't get along. The chemistry's not good. I'm paraphrasing just a little bit, and in a kind of light way. But really, what we want is to have you as a baby, and so an ordinary child. So Krishna appeared, and then the rest is history on how that pastime rolled out. Krishna was not born, and Prabhupada puts it in a very interesting way, not as a result of seminal discharge. It sounds kind of explicit in a certain kind of way, but not under normal circumstances. Krishna is beyond the laws of nature. And it's a little bit like, have you ever been on the highway and the police are racing? They got their sirens on and lights flat, and they're going way beyond the speed limit. And if you don't understand their role, you say, to make a little kid, why are they speeding? The police shouldn't be speeding. What's that? Okay, a bug. Okay, a bug. A bug was just thrown out of the window and was not squished. Okay, so you can't fault the police for that. They enforce the laws that are established by human beings, and for safety. Usually, that's what it is. The policy, POLICE, established the policy with a Y at the end and no E. Policy, and their duty is to uphold the policies. And so if it's established that you're to go, what is it? What is it here? It's like 80 miles per hour. Is that reasonable? 60. Okay, forgive me. I just
55 stay alive.
55 stay alive. Okay, and in Canada it's something like 100, but people do 110. And that's permissible. Move to Canada. That's the answer. Solution to the problem. Okay, so anyways, they transcend the police that was around the patrol. They transcend. They're not subjected to the laws. And so similarly, Krishna is not subjected to the laws of material nature. Rather, on the contrary, the term is used here, he's the one, Krishna is the one who creates the laws and the policies. He establishes even an organization, a construct for human beings. Chatur Bhajantimam Janasu. No. Chatur Varnam Mayashrishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha Tasya Karataram Apimam Vidya Karataram Aviyam. That four Chatur threw me off. So 4 social orders of life. Whether you like it or not, there are classes in human society. You'll find them everywhere, all over the world. You find a visionary group of people, and they usually have, not only do they have vision, but they act on it. They act in noble ways. They act with vision, long-term vision. Then you have the group of people who just love to be in charge. Have you ever met those people before? I don't want to be a control freak, but I want to be in charge. Okay. Well, some people are actually good. They can handle themselves well. They're incredible people movers, and they have dharma behind them. They have values and principles behind them, and we want those kind of leaders. And we just have a hard time finding them these days in the democratic system. I don't need to point at anybody or any countries, but let's say North America, whether it's north of the 49th parallel or south of the 49th parallel, we need a break. Do you agree?
Yes.
Let's not get political now. Okay. We need leaders who are principled, people who are live by some regimen, by some laws, and the laws are established by God. Dharamantu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. God establishes laws and policies. for how humans should act, right? So it is the Kshatriyas who have that gift to be able to enforce laws. A nice story about when I was in Edmonton. Some people have never heard of Edmonton before, except for one person who used to live there, or a couple. Oh, they're sticking their necks out. Okay. Nilamani and Radhika. Yeah, they were in Edmonton before. Nice city, it's oil based. And so there's some money floating around. Yeah, so I was in Edmonton. I was walking with Garuda Mahan, who's right here with us now. Garuda, woo woo. Okay, and we were on the Yellowhead Highway, which is the northern stretch that goes to the northern part of the prairie provinces. And if you remember, there was sirens were going, and they were coming from two different directions, east and west. And one came behind us. It was a police officer. It wasn't the ambulance. Came in behind us. Another one was coming from the easterly direction, and he came and he drove through the median. You know, the median, the grassy part, and he came right in front of us. So we had a police officer behind us and a police officer in front of us. And I remember saying to you, Garuda, that I don't know why they're after us, but they certainly can't catch us for speeding. We were just walking. So, anyways, they came. That came out of their cabs. The two officers, one in the front of us and one behind. Don't worry about a thing. We just want to get our pictures taken with the walking. Pictures taken with the walking monk. Yeah. So then they did, and we took pictures and everything like that. Now it's rush hour. Everyone's going to work, and everyone's slowing down. They're quite strict about it in Alberta, the province. If there's sirens, if the police are there, you've got to slow down. You have to slow down. So everyone's slowing down. So we were talking, the pictures were taken. We started talking to each other. And I remember clearly saying, like, Garuda, you were in a dhoti and a kurta. You were dressed in white, and I was dressed in my saffron. And we started talking to these police officers. They both looked like Matt Damon somehow or other. They were younger than us. Anyways, I said, in our tradition, which has roots from India, we have what's called Brahmins. So we're dressed like Brahmins, and we sort of lay down the laws. We establish what are the principles to abide by for the human beings. And if people happen to know those laws, but if they fall through the cracks, then the police, like you guys are what we call Kshatriyas. Your job is to come and enforce those laws, put them behind bars, or give them an incredibly high, like summons slip, like, what do they call it? Just, you have to pay a ticket. Yeah. And it can be quite astronomical. So anyways, I remember them saying that, wow, that's very interesting. That system is really, really interesting. So they understood that we came from a background that has history, thousands of years history. We made great friends with them. In fact, that's the thing that devotees can be very good at, is make friends with the police, because generally what they stand for, at least in civilized countries, they stand for good policies. There are some countries where it's quite corrupt, and you bribe them, and then, okay, I'll do whatever you want, boss, and thanks for the dough, and do any old crazy thing. Get involved in big rings with, involving drugs and crime and things like that. That's terrible when it gets to that level. So then you also have the Vaishyas, which is a large community, and they are pretty much the stomach of the social body. They provide the bread, chapatis, rotis, parathas, Wonder Bread, Italian bread, whatever, Greek bread, and butter. You can't forget the butter, butter has to be there. So it would be hard to have a world without the Vaishyas, There's the business class people, they're the farmers. They work hard at what they do. right? And then we have the largest group of people, which are those who work with their bodies. They do physical work. They load, they unload, they shove, they do all kinds of handiwork. If we didn't have them, we'd fall apart. I mean, when your toilet goes off, in like very messy ways, when if you get a hold of a plumber, he's God. They play a major role. They give the ultimate support to the whole operation. Now, this is Krishna's structure. This is, you can say it's a policy. These are how people operate naturally. Any place in the world that you go, Prabhupada said, you'll find Varna and ashram. It might be a little bit clouded, obscured, but it exists everywhere. Even amongst, like he used to talk about, tribal people. Tribal people are very simple people. I'm not, let's say, judging them. I think they're wonderful people. I've had a chance to meet a lot of like what was considered tribal people on my walks, and they're really nice folks. They're just simple folks. They like to laugh. They're easier to get along with than the people who have nose trouble, if you know what I'm talking about. snooty folks, and you'll find them in all classes. So this is a system that's natural. You'll detect it everywhere you go in the world, and it should just be recognized. I don't think we have to stamp everyone. I am this. I am that. But just acknowledge what you're good at and pay attention to the details. Like there's no better love than when you see someone coming in doing nice handiwork and fixing your household problems, isn't it? They're like angels. Thank you. Thank you. And oh, by the way, I heard some statistics in that field. A lot of those people in those categories, plumbers, maybe even farmers who are going to go, they have less divorce than some of the people in the upper crust level. Isn't that interesting? Hare Krishna. Shows you that our world is very troubled. Yeah. Okay, so Krishna is beyond all of these things, and since he's beyond, he knows what he's doing. He's wired us, and we should feel that there's some power in this personality. We say supreme personality of what? Of Godhead. They're just on top of things. Krishna's on top. Even when we talk to some of our Hindu friends, they said there's Brahma, there's Vishnu, and there's Shiva. And it's a little bit like that, okay? So if that is the case, that's fine. It's a triangle, It's a little bit like a trident or a tripod. That's kind of a tripod right there. I'm just pointing over here for those who cannot see. But you know what a tripod is. So you have 3 points, and they're all quite equal in a certain way. Equal, let's say, space confined. And but the way to look at that and the way to maybe read it in the proper way is that there's Brahma and there's Shiva. Brahma looks after passion, Shiva looks after ignorance, and it is Vishnu who looks after the goodness aspect, the maintenance. So if you have that triangle, then Vishnu's up here, Shiva and Brahma. How do you like that? They appear equal, but one's on top. All right? So don't try to switch it around. Anyways, we said a few things here. I hope you, let's say, heard about some of the opening remarks. Now we will very much welcome comments or questions from any of you out there in regards to this verse, maybe the previous ones we have read, and also this, purport. Somebody gave me a certain kind of water, and I'm burping a little bit. Okay. Hare Krishna. So that's it. Do we need to pass a microphone around? Do you think, Madan Gopalji? Okay. Okay, so there we go. We've gone a little over halfway with our hour of introspection and deliberation on this beautiful verse. So please give some thought and express some wisdom. Any questions you may have? Okay, we have a gopher here. That means he is going to go for this and go for that. Anybody any questions? We have Garuda Vahan, my support guy from Edmonton on. Go ahead.
Three modes of material nature. We learned that the material nature has a gross side to it and a subtle side to it. These three modes of material nature seem to be, what are they? Are they subtle energies, or are they just like they're part of the material energy and everything seems to function around them? But what? How should I see it? As a subtle effect, or it's a
Well, yes. Thank you for the question. I'll repeat it in the best way I can. So these three modes of material nature, are they subtle energy? Are they gross energy? What impact do they have on us? That's basically the question, right?
yes?
Okay, so they are a part of the 24 elements that make up this world. They are there. They are very influential. They affect our mind. They very much determine our future. It depends on which one you are embracing. They can come across as very subtle. They may not be tangible, but their product, what they produce, could be tangible. Okay, but they're very distinct from each other, very distinct. And so Krishna bothers to tell us about these three modes throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Throughout, these three modes keep coming up. And so we can understand them better. And if we can see the world through these three filters, we might be able to spare ourselves of a lot of problems. And when it comes to decision making, we might come up with more intelligent conclusions. Okay, so mode of goodness, just to wrap it up. You can define it as thoughtfulness, being thoughtful. A person who is influenced largely by goodness is thoughtful. Doesn't jump to conclusions very quickly, but processes things. Sleeps on the subject matter. Maybe does some consultation. A person in the mode of goodness does planning. But, goodness is one word that Prabhupada uses. Thoughtfulness is a really good word to describe the influence, the energy of goodness. So is it tangible? Maybe you can't see it in the mirror. It's hard to hold up goodness, but it's demonstrated through your actions. Mode of passion means to be restless. It's very much like when we're young whippersnappers. We do everything quite passionately, and not always with great forethought, but nevertheless, we're active. We are moving, and it seems like we're getting somewhere. Let's give the example of being on the highway. You're moving real fast. I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere. But then you look at a sign. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Okay? Yes. So that's the mode of passion. But passion is necessary, and it's also demonstrated by the output. It's illustrated by what you do with it. Hopefully, intelligence can be married to this passion principle. Then we have ignorance. That means it's just darkness, lethargy, slowness. Don't use your brains if they're still there. Maybe you've done so many drugs that you've burned them all out. You killed every last cell. There's no way of thinking. And, some people have lazy tendencies, but if they have someone by their side who acts more through goodness and passion, then something will get done. They start moving. And there's a lot of people in that category. Yeah, just laziness, lethargy, slothfulness. How many people have seen a sloth in their life? They're really cool looking, aren't they? They have this big smile. They got long legs and long arms, and they just hang on a tree. And everything is slow. How slow can you go? Okay, So this is ignorance. So they are very obvious through how people dispense themselves, how they act, and through the course of the day, we do experience a chunk of each one of those. When we're sleeping, it's generally some mode of ignorance. When we're building a house or doing renovations, like some of you, I know, that's passion. When you're producing babies, it's passion. It's a good thing. And then mode of goodness, it's a lot of insightfulness, a lot of thoughtfulness, and people in that realm are meditating, they're praying, they're wishing well, they send out good energy. So when I say send out good energy, is it gross or subtle? It's subtle, isn't it? Like Guru, if you're praying for somebody, it's like it's a energy you're sending out, and it's got a subtle quality to it, but they're good vibrations. Okay, good vibrations. The Beach Boys. Okay, Hare Krishna. All right. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can make reference, look online, everything's there. The Beach Boys, they sing the song Good Vibrations. All right. Any other questions or comments? Madan Gopal, yeah.
Maharaj, Raj has.
Vraj, young Vraj, tell us some ancient wisdom, or
Sorry,
give a
Hare
comment.
Krishna Maharaj. I want to know where the verse. I tried noting it, but I'm not good at noting Sanskrit. Sure. Something to do with 4 social orders of life
Chapter 4.
in Sanskrit. I wonder where the
It's
text is found.
chapter 4, text 11, isn't it? Yeah, go to chapter 4, and I think everyone who's got their books out can look at this. Chatur Varnyam Mayashrishtam. This is a system set up by God Himself. He's the creator of this system, so we should take it a little bit seriously. Right? The problem that people have with this system is that, I don't like a class system. There's going to be upper and lower. But if we can be mature in our approach and say everyone's equal and we complement each other instead of compete with or oppress each other, that's where the trouble begins. I'm higher, you're lower, that kind of thing. And from a spiritual perspective, we're all equal. So if you can bear that in mind, then it can be okay. It just has to be reminded all the time. We are not these bodies. In fact, when I was with the Freemasons, I mentioned that we are not these bodies. We're the spirit, we're the soul in the body. So this is like something they haven't heard before, I guess. Okay, is that okay, bro? So you got your reference
Yes.
there? Great. Look at it.
Yes, thank you. I also have another question. Why is it that we are, say, built the way we are? Like we grew up a certain way.
We are born under circumstances that have a, let's say, connection to the past. We are where we are, and that has a lot to do with what we deserve and what we desire. 2 Ds. What you wanted and what you deserve by the laws of karma. So we are connected to the past, and we're also connected to the future. If the present is going to be conducted in a way of the way of Dharma, doing what ought to be done. Yeah. So be a principled person and you'll have a bright future. Break all the rules and you'll be broken. You'll be a broken person. Simple as that. Okay. Thank you, Vraj.
Maharaj,
Yes.
just a question regarding the verse. Lord Krishna is saying he's all states of being, and I'm thinking Arjuna is on the battlefield and he's being faced with persons who are inimical towards him, who want to do violence towards him. How do you avoid, or what's what way should you look at that and not feel upset with Krishna when he's, presenting himself in some way as a force of evil? He's everything, all states of being, good and evil. How do you avoid not feeling upset when you're faced with evil and thinking, oh, Krishna's evil, he's coming towards me in the form of opposing soldiers out to hurt me and my family?
Well, it's true that Krishna is the source of all. He's a source of good and bad. And, but he encourages goodness. He encourages discretion. He encourages discernment. And he expects us to go by values and principles. So we can look at that. When ugliness is staring you in the face, I mean, darkness and with everything that represents adharma, it's a test. It's an opportunity. It's an examination. And examinations or tests, what do they do for people? Can I ask one of the students who just was from University of Michigan, Madhava, what would you say? What are exams good for? I mean, you probably wish they never were there.
They're really great.
Can our yeah. We're just getting a student who just went through graduation at the University of Michigan, and he's going to tell us his take on that.
Yeah, I went to a different college in Michigan. Michigan State's a bit farther away than the University of Michigan there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I gave the wrong name. Please forgive
It's very
me.
confusing. Oh yeah. So you said examinations.
What does examination? What do they do for you?
We pay so much for these courses,
Oh,
and we really are paying for these examinations. That's how valuable they are. And for me, it really forces the student to comprehend it in a way that you could deliver that same information back to the teacher in its pure essence, through questioning with your just mental strength. It just makes your mental.
it makes you mental.
understanding. It makes you mental and makes your mind strong. Yeah. So in both ways, it does.
Okay. Well, it's certainly, you exercise your brain power, right? And you're being tested for the subject that you're in. So you can be strong and you handle difficult circumstances. Because the world is a tough place, Krishna says that it's a difficult world to be in. So when you have exams, and everyone's tested on some level, and it just makes you strong so that you can handle and cope with the difficulties of life. If you just like you working out just to get stronger, and when you don't have exercise, for instance, whether it's walking or whatever it is, you'll be subjected to illness all the time. So Krishna is helping us to be strong, and that's one way to look at negative forces that are coming at you. Gives you an opportunity to build up strength and to put up a good fight against that negativity. Yeah, that's definitely one way to view the dark forces that come our way. You got to battle them. Whether it's disease or whether COVID or what virus. I almost feel like I don't want to go there. Let's leave that behind. I don't want to talk about it. Any virus or bacteria, what you want to do is you have to fight it somehow, and you do it by building up strength, building up your immunity, and exams help you to do that. I hate to say it, I didn't like exams, but Krishna is giving us exams all the time, every day, testing you. You've got a brother, you've got a partner, or whatever you have, and you disagree. How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to cope with it? Are you going to come to some consensus? Are you going to come to some agreement? Or do you just say, we will agree to disagree and let's move on with life? But you want to squabble, and what the dark forces want to see is that let everyone fight with each other, just kill each other. Yay, Maya goes, yay, I won. But we don't want that. So Krishna's really helping us out when he places the challenges before us. And it's a little bit hard to sort out in the mind, but you have to make the effort. He's given the brain for you to help to try to sort it out. But it should lead us to prayer so we can have strength. Arjuna was weakened. He was dealing with our dark forces. Duryodhan and company, they were representing everything that's adharmic. And Arjuna did the right thing. Krishna smiled at him when he said, I'm weak and I need you. You are strong. So give me the strength. I know it's a test right now. So help me to pass it. Is that okay? Is that all right, Prabhu? Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Jai Jai. Good stuff. Anybody else? We have maybe about 5 minutes and then we'll do takeaways. Oh. Okay.
Maharaj, if I may make a comment?
Okay, I've got somebody who's got the mic right now. So
Okay.
you have the last shot there. We'll take another shot here in New Jersey and then we'll shoot at Owen Sound.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I think in chapter 17, Krishna says something like, these demons, they will always be born in demoniac families going forward.
16, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my question is kind of on the same line as who asked the previous question. So one can say God, Krishna is so mean, because I was a demon.
Because of his policies,
Yes.
demons will be born as demons again and again and again.
Yes.
Okay,
So
what's
he
that
answered
all
it.
about? That question came up to Prabhupada in Toronto in 1976. Okay, and somebody was questioning it. Michael O'Regan, who's a good friend of mine, passed away, and he asked about that, and Prabhupada was implying that it goes on for a long time. You're being born again into demonic species, but over and over again, Prabhupada also explains that it's devotees that come and intervene and change that. God in the heart might change, and he sends his devotees to come and enter your lives. That, hey, would you like a little prasad? And from that, little Indian sweet, and then from there, everything just changes. Oh, that's a nice guy. Yeah, I like that. So what else? And then just one thing leads to another. Nice conversation ensues, and that's kind of how it works. The devotees are there to make a difference. If someone's going in the wrong direction, you say, hey, you're in the wrong direction. Come on over this. And that's happened a lot for people who look for directions. Like, you can't always depend on your little Google thing. It doesn't always help you out. We were going to a home program and we were following Google, like we were very loyal to it. And we ended up in a parking lot of the liquor store. So, but depend on Krishna, and devotees will come and change people's lives from being an asuric personality to a divine being. So welcome them. That says something about what our obligation is. Our obligation is to try to help people, reach out. We're that kind of humanitarian culture. I love this new thing. Every day, I hear a cell phone fall on the floor or a thermos. Like every day, they're offering obeisances. So, good, Prabhu. Garuda Vahan, no, go ahead.
Well, you answered my question. You
Okay.
already answered it. I was going to ask you about the mode of ignorance. Today, there seems to be so much anger in the world. People seem to have fallen into some form of darkness, especially a lot of young people. We're seeing it in the colleges and universities and so on. And then you answered my question by saying that's what devotees are here for, is that we intervene. And we can we change that darkness just by intervening? If we can, by education, knowledge?
Yes, it starts with a little Indian sweet. That was offered to Krishna. Well, it's relatable. If you say, here's some prasadam, what is that? Is that a drug? I know. You say it's Indian sweet. So try it out. It's just a reference point, you know. By the way, it's Prashadam, and this, you know, you can, once you buddy up with somebody, it's easy to then talk. Their hearts are melted when you give them something that, you know, to the stomach, to the tummy. So one thing leads to another. You talk about transcendence, which is for everybody. Wisdom is for everybody. All right, good.
So,
We
so eating
yeah.
the prasadam, a maha prasadam, like a sweet etc., that's in the mode of goodness. By doing that, you can dissipate the mode of ignorance.
Yes, it is a transcendental gesture. Definitely, it's coming from a soft heart, compassion on the part of the devotee to offer something to someone that's going to maybe turn their life around. It starts with that little spark that starts a big fire. So get those sparks out, all the devotees, and let's share the things that we are expected to share: sacred food, sacred wisdom, and sacred sound. Those are the three things that we are supposed to deliver to the world, and that will turn things around. Do we have any one other individual that might? Neela Manipur, go ahead.
Yes,
It's our temple president here.
Maharaj, thank you for coming. Spending time with us. It's always wonderful. Maharaj, I just wanted to ask, when we're talking about the forerunners and ashrams and things like that, right? So you're born with certain tendencies, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudra, Brahmana, but you know, in ISKCON, we change all kinds of peoples to Brahmanas. Right? Is that really possible? Like we can change Shudra to Brahmana?
Yes, it's a good question. The question is about in ISKCON, we welcome everybody, and someone might have a tendency, as let's say a merchant, you know, they like to sell, they've got it in their blood, DNA, but we shoot them up to the Brahminical level. Is your question, is it valid? Is it something that we should be doing, or? Is it possible?
Not personality, like you
Yeah.
have that kind of personality and so forth, and now just by the association
Well, here-
and initiation process now we're changing that.
Initiation into Brahminical.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, well, okay, sometimes there's pressure on, we've got all these deities and we need a second initiated devotee. And therefore, out of emergency, we can do a fire yajna now because tomorrow, you know, I don't have a pujari, the temple president is thinking like that. I don't think we should be in that kind of a bind. You know, we should, a lot of good training, Brahmins go through a lot of training, many years of education. And please look at 1842. These are the qualities of a Brahmin. Personally, if you want, I feel that when we do second initiations, it should be given to people who embodied a lot of these particular qualities: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, being tolerant, being honest, being wise and sharing wisdom and acting out wisdom. Those qualities should be there. And I would go so far as to say that I think most people who become Brahmins, they should probably take let's say, different courses on etiquette, how to deal with human beings, and learn how to be a counselor, learn about social human behavior. Take some courses because you're going to be dealing with people, and people will be coming up to you. You're a Brahmin, you're a priest, and they have certain expectations. So I think we're going to get there, because you talked about ISKCON in particular. That ISKCON can go there and offer those kind of valuable, you know, seminars that will really make a Brahmin out of somebody, you know, instead of just a superficial title that won't mean much. People have certain expectations, certain behavioral expectations behind a Brahminical person. So I don't think we should be too loose about giving that kind of title to people. That's my opinion. Hare Krishna. Great. Madan Gopal, do you have any last words? I'm asking Madan Gopal to say a few things because he's a bright star, a shining knight in this community, and he's taking a lot of responsibilities. And so he has his He's a great MC. Are you a good DJ? He's a dramatist. He's a dramatist, and he's also taken drama queen. And he's recently taken up responsibility of initiating devotees. So, Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Thank you for the blessings, Maharaj. I just wanted to kind of tie as two elements or two questions that came from different directions about the three modes and the four varnas and how they're actually interrelated. That Krishna has created these four varnas, but they're actually based on the three modes. Where the Brahmanas are predominantly in the mode of goodness, and then the Kshatriya are predominantly in the mode of passion, and the Vaishya, a mixture of passion, ignorance, and then Shudra ignorance. And then one question was, why am I built this way? And so I think we are products of our own choices from our previous lives and many lives. And what are these choices? The choices typically boil down to the modes. Like, I could choose to eat something right now that's a mode of goodness or a mode of ignorance. That choice determines my next fork in the road. And so as we collect all these different choices and their cumulative effects, then it determines our very deep conditioning. And sometimes the conditioning is so deep that in this lifetime, we can't really budge too far from it. In that case, we have a choice to make that perhaps, given my deep conditioning in this direction, like, okay, I'm very much in moral passion, then how can I contribute to society? In which case, then let me follow the rules and regulations of Kshatriya Varna, where I'm kind of leveraging a bad bargain, where I'm deeply conditioned in this particular set of choices and living actions, while still using that to uplift society and also uplift myself, because it's probably not going to be possible for me to fully come out of the deep conditioning.
Yes.
And so we can kind of combine that whole concept and understand why Krishna has given us these four systems to help us work around our own ropes, so to speak.
Yes. That's very wise what you had to say. And basically, we join Krishna consciousness to make some changes. And those changes might come a little slower than we anticipate. It'll be incremental. And if you are feeling an incremental change, consider yourself very fortunate. Yes. So it's a deep subject. Thank you very much. And I think we should just wrap it up. We are just a little over time. We just take a little feedback from anybody. You could do it in the form of takeaway. Is that okay? Takeaway. Give us 3 or 4 words. I don't think we can go through everybody here. Nilamani, there's too many people here. You know that. That's why they're building a new temple. I want to thank you all for getting on board. Can we get some takeaways from everybody? Sudama, you're very good at this, but can you tell people not to say, "Oh, Maharaj, it's nice to see you. Please accept my humble obeisance." Because that just eats up too much time. Can we just, get people to say 4 words maximum on a takeaway? Like, what did we learn from what we just discussed? Okay, so you can go through everything alphabetically, or maybe anybody wants to say something, because our group is a little bit too big. Okay, who wants to say something? Put up your hand.
We've got Radha Krishna.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. Devotee association transforms lives.
Yes, thank you. Next, takeaway. Atreya.
Depend on Krishna, not Google.
Okay, thank you. Love it.
Sacred knowledge, sacred food, sacred sound.
Yes, that is our mandate from Prabhupada. You put it simply in those words. Okay, anybody else there that is eager?
Purna Shakti.
Purna Shakti. You're on mute. I think. Okay.
Prasadam distribution, world changing.
World changing. See, she's working with the parameters. 4 words, very intelligent. Anybody else? That sounded like somebody
Krishna
eating the prasad.
strength. Get that one?
No, I didn't.
Do you want to do that again, Kaya? Did you hear Kaya?
No, we didn't.
Oh, Kaya. Krishna is strength.
Krishna is strength. Yay. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll go then to our New Jersey group here. And what is your name again? Om. Om. How old are you?
8.
Can everyone see Om? He's a sharp little guy.
We are here because we desire and we deserve.
Thank you. Yay. Good. Yes, Madan Gopal.
Indian sweets, very nice.
Indian sweets, very nice. Okay. All right.
See Krishna in everything.
See Krishna and everything. Very nice. Yes. We didn't highlight that too much, but yes, it was part of our discussion. Bravo. Nice. Anybody else? We can take a couple more people. How about Bruce from the Sioux?
In tripod, Krishna is on the top.
In tripod, Krishna, yes. Or Vishnu, yes. That's fine. We always slash, Vishnu slash.
Respect the plumber.
Respect the plumber, yes. Plumbers are angels. They're angels. They're in charge of it, but they're angels. Anything else? Yes.
Difficult time is Krishna's test.
Well, what's that?
Difficult time is a test from Krishna.
Difficult times is a test from Krishna. Or we said dark forces, ignorance comes at you, ugliness. And that's Krishna coming at you, and see how strong you really are, how sincere you are. Okay, and yes.
Krishna never undermoves.
Krishna is never under the modes. Yes, very good. He's never under the bus. Madhava, from your sector, the bright, the young, the intelligent, can you give us some?
I was going to say, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. So for Bruce, next week I'll be with you. If anybody wants to join any of these classes that we have during the week, like I do have an East Coast group that's every 2 weeks. This is kind of like central. That's Ontario. Usually we have some Quebec devotees, and we managed to slip in some people from BC. Well, why not? Okay, and they're all like family ties are there. What a nice group, isn't it? Your group, what a great combination, truly, guys. So we'll just offer our respectful obeisances. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, kripasindhubhyevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. And those people who are in Ontario especially, please come. I know some of you are from Scarborough and such, and Owen Sound, all that. Please, and Barrie, Krishna Katad, Harikata, I'm not sure where they are right now, but please, Jason, this grand opening, and it's on the 19th. In the middle of the long weekend there, okay? Haribo.
Nita is right there. You can ask him about Rajasi playing at that particular event.
All right, Rajasi. Nitai, give us the good news.
Yeah, as far as I know, we're playing there.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. And Trey and I have been playing some nice chanting and some instruments with it.
Good. Yeah, aren't you the John Lennon of the group?
No.
The leader, or the one who calls the shots. Or all right. So thank you very much, everybody.
No, not actually.
Oh no, not actually. Okay. So thank you, everybody. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. See you next week. That's on Tuesday. Where will I be?
Hare Krishna.
I think I'll be in Toronto. Thank you, Haribol. Jai Hare Krishna.
Everybody in America.
Thank you so much.
Jai.
Haribol BP.
Yeah, hi Bo. Hi Bonnie guy.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Sadama.
You're over at Auntie Shelley's.
Yeah, we're in the river.
Okay, Bruce, we hope you had a nice experience there. So, Nilamani,